Welcome back to the Maxi Canalla show. Central has defeated Barracas Central 1-0 at the Barracas Central Stadium. This game was particularly odd because in the beginning of the match, we saw that Barracas Central Stadium was doing a little bit of lighting show. So they were trying to do a cool lighting show, and then eventually, because of turning it off and on and off and on so much, the lights didn't come back on to start the match. So there was a 45-minute delay where the stadium was just pitch dark, like the lights wouldn't turn on, which was extremely odd. But you know, uh, the Argentine football is sometimes like this, uh, which is quite odd in particular. But Central lined up with a Team B and resting all the starters because this Thursday we have a match against Corinthians, the second leg in La Libertadores. So Central changed up the whole squad, lining up with Werner in goal, Juan Jimenez, a pibe who hasn't played in a long time, especially after that knee injury that he had. I haven't seen him on the field at least for a year. But Juan Jimenez, El Pastor is back. Macho and Saracho as a line of 3/5 because left wing back we have Soto, right wing back we have Peron, uh, Paul Fernandez and Pizarro in the middle, Alan Rodriguez and Julian Fernandez playing up top, and Badaloni as the sole striker. So Central playing with the B team um, turned out to be pretty good. The Almiron idea is there throughout the whole match. We can see that because the Central kept possession of the ball, not risking too much, passing a lot sideways and backwards, and this slow build up game, which sometimes doesn't end up in anything at all because Central had possession, dominated the match, but didn't have a lot of chances. Uh, and this is an Almiron stamp for sure. This is an Almiron stamp. But in the first half, we did have some good performances. I thought Saracho was pretty good as a center back. I think his marking was pretty good. He's pretty good positioning, and I think that's what was talked about when Central was first presenting Saracho as a buy in the window. They said he has really good positioning, good man marking, and is always on the heels of the attackers. So I think that's what Saracho showed tonight. I think he had a pretty good performance. Soto has been playing pretty good overall in the last two matches that Almiron has put him in for Sandes to rest. I think Soto has been playing better than Sandes in his starts. So I think Soto should be a starter, but I don't think Almiron is gonna take Sandes out of the starting lineup for Soto. But Soto had a really good first half today versus Barracas Central, always going up and down, and he rarely loses the ball. Takes good decisions. I think when he doesn't have a pass going forward down the line, he cuts in and finds a pass in the middle, which Sanders does not do. Sanders looks like he just puts his head down and starts trudging forward, or gives a pass down the line to Campas always, and eventually makes a mistake. Um, and I think Soto was pretty good defensively as well today. Uh, Alan Rodriguez in the middle. He played more like a number 10. Was probably the revolution, the revelation of tonight's match. He really played a bright game. He was brilliant. He showed some good movement on and off the ball. Really good dribbling, good decision making, very attacking oriented. Um, very very always looking forward and looking. He has a instinct of goal because he appears in like number 9 positions. He appears in second striker positions, and he's also defending in the back as well sometimes. So he's pretty box to box. He gives me a good amount of hope for Central's midfield that we've been playing only with Ibarra so far. Pizarro is really bad, and he showed it again in this match that he is just a regular player, passes it side to side, it doesn't give you anything defensively or attacking. Even against Barracas Central, which is a big issue for Pizarro. I think he shouldn't even be second option. I think he should be a third or fourth option. I would put Navarro. I would put Alan Rodriguez, or even another Reservas player before Pizarro, probably, because Pizarro is just really, really poor and he doesn't give Central anything. It's probably him taking away from Central at this point. But Alan Rodriguez had a really bright performance. He appeared in the first half, scoring a goal in a number 9 position, where Paul Fernandez puts in a nice ball down into the space in the middle where Badaloni left some space, a pocket of space after he brought the defender out. So uh, Alan Rodriguez takes a really bad touch that falls for that actually is really good for him. It falls in favor of him as he's moving into the area, into the box, passes his man mark with that really bad touch that goes like 30, 40 feet up in the air. And then that ball falls into the box in the path of Alan Rodriguez. And after a really bad first touch, he takes a really incredible second touch to control the ball perfectly that was coming down 40 feet in the air and puts it at the right corner, puts it at the far right corner. And the goalie has nothing to do. It was a beautiful, beautiful finish. And it was an incredible goal. And Alan Rodriguez shows a lot on and off the ball and also shows that he can score, which is a big issue for Central. We cannot score. Talking about scoring, Badaloni played as the sole number 9 tonight, as the striker, and he showed a very, very, very poor performance. A horrible performance. I think the worst player on the pitch. And that says a lot because Pizarro was also on the pitch. But Badaloni was exceptionally bad, exceptionally poor tonight. It seems that every decision he takes is the opposite of what he really should be doing. He can't control the ball. He can't pass the ball. He can't associate with teammates. In the goal that we saw, it was better for him to just get out of the way. So it's really concerning and a poor performance from Badaloni. If it's true that we spent really wasted $3 to $4 million on this player, it is a disgrace. And his agent is probably the one of the best agents in South America or all of America, really, because that was an incredible robbery that they did on Central. But other than that, in the second half, we saw that Barracas Central started the second half with a bit more pressure, more intensity, and they started bringing Central further and further back. So Central had the ball less, and we had to defend more. And Almiron started making some changes. But I think Beron also played a really good game in general as the right back, better than Coronel. I think Beron is a good promising player. Yeah, he's a young promising player. I think he has offers a lot in attack. I think he gets back in defense well. I think he takes good decisions to pass the ball and not lose it. I think he's not so hard-headed like I think our current right back and left back Sandes and Coronel are. Although Coronel can show really good decision making, he hasn't shown that lately. And I think Beron is a good shout for a start against Corinthians in the Libertadores. But in the second half, we saw that Barracas kept putting us further and further back into our field, into our box, and to defend more. And then Almiron made some changes and put in more pibes. Central made all five substitutions at Agustin Guich replaced Juan Jimenez, Emmanuel Coronel replaced Verón, Lautaro Ramos replaced Pizarro. It's important that Pizarro played 73 minutes, meaning he probably isn't going to be a starter Thursday against Corinthians in the Libertadores, which is good news for Central. Valentin Felici replaced Julian Fernandez, and Leon Rafin replaced Gaspar Fernandez, who is Paul Fernandez. Badaloni played the entire match, so that's a good indication that he won't be playing Thursday as well. So I'm hoping to see Copetti in the first half and Marco Ruben in the second half on Thursday, which would be super hype. And I would love that to happen. I don't know if Almiron is going to actually do that because he's kind of trash sometimes, but I really, really hope that we get to see that happen. Um, Out of the five substitutions, I saw something that was quite uh, interesting, weird. I saw when Coronel came on for Veron. It seemed after a couple of plays, Coronel was kind of limping, and I don't know if he had an injury or what happened. He got hit, but he came off the pitch at the end of the game limping. So I don't know if he's going to be eligible to start against Corinthians because of a knock, or if Veron is going to have to play. But if Veron plays, I'm happy. Veron is a really good player. Uh, and I would love to see him play as a starter versus Corinthians on Thursday. Which it's good that the young players, had some game time. But when we had all five substitutions on the pitch, it was all kids, and there was a lot of mistakes being made. Barraca Central pushed us into our box in the last 15 minutes, and Central was suffering a lot because the man marking was pretty bad. The spaces left behind were pretty bad. They were moving the defense around too much for too little movement on Barraca Central's part. And I think Lautaro Ramos came in and he shows he has good technique, but he didn't get the ball much and he didn't defend much. Felici didn't do much at all. Rafin, we've seen him play before and he leaves a lot of space. He makes some mistakes in positioning and he leaves some stuff to be desired. But I hope that these players can learn a little bit more when they get these opportunities to play. But when you put on five kids from the reservas, you get a lot of mistakes happening. And we saw that versus Barraca Central. These kids still have a lot to go. There's exceptions like Beron, like Antisano, who didn't play today. But overall, Central played a really good game in a really difficult stadium to play. Barracas Central Stadium, called Chiquitapia Stadium. Chiquitapia's team. Actually, Chiquitapia gave himself a plaque in the halftime. So he's the AFA president and he gives himself a plaque. So weird. Davalo, who is Barraca Central's referee, was horrible tonight. Obviously, he favored Barraca Central, but I wasn't expecting anything else from Dovalo. So he is a terrible referee when it comes to refereeing Barraca Central. Really, really awful. But Central got a really good 3 points, a really good win in a really difficult situation, playing a B team with all substitutes. Werner, I think, played a great game. Werner played a really good game. Um, and he might be fighting for starter position versus Ledesma because he made a really, really good save at the end there, one on one, a crucial save to get the win in the last minutes of the match. He's also really good up in the air when he has to get the ball on crosses or corners. He seems pretty secure, except in the first half where he had one where I think he measured it wrong. Thought about coming out, then hesitated, and it was a free header for the Barracas Central. If the Barracas Central player finished it better, it would have been a goal for sure because he just heads it and it goes directly to Werner and he finds himself with the ball. It wasn't really a save, but it is a save, but he found himself with the ball. But overall, Central got a really good win, a really good 3 points, especially for the annual table. This puts us in, I think, fifth position now. Vélez, Independiente Rivadavia, Argentino Juniors. Maybe we're fourth right now. Vélez plays today, so I'll be attentive to that. But that was a very important 3 points, very important win over Barracas Central for Central. So now we have to wait and see what comes out in the meantime for the match against Corinthians on Thursday for the Libertadores that we have to go and play in Brazil. A very difficult match is coming up, but I can't wait for that magical night of Libertadores. So I want to thank you guys for listening. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and remember, enjoy the football. Aguante Central, aguante Argentina, and aguante USA. See you in the next one.